Ladies and gentlemen, oh dear. I've done a lot of research. People have been drinking for a long time, ever since Adam and Eve. Some people think Adam and Eve on their honeymoon, and the honeymoon is a time when you drink honey. Some rabbis say that the tree of life was actually had grapes on it. And if it had apple, well, it was apple cider then, wasn't it? So, I have done a lot of research. Why should you trust me? Why am I an expert? After all, I'm British. British don't drink much, do they? Yeah, not as much as the French, the Irish. And women don't drink as much as men. And girls don't drink as much as women. And I didn't drink as much when I was younger as I do now. I'm going to tell you all I have learned. I learned as a travel writer, going all over the world to wineries, and my husband is now taking exams to be a sommelier. And today we have had 5 lots of tasting glasses while he tried to tell the difference between 3 kinds of port and sherry without looking at the label. How is this done? The wine you probably most know, champagne. Who would recognise a champagne bottle? Oh, I see. Some of you have some already by the sound of it. A champagne bottle. Here is a typical champagne bottle. How do bottles differ from each other when you go into a supermarket? Very often the white wine, oddly enough, will be in a clear bottle. The darker red wines are protected from the light in the darker bottles. Sometimes the manufacturer puts on a fancy label, and as you can see, I went for a fancy label. Even though I didn't know whether I'd like the drink or not, I bought it for the label. And lots of people buy a drink just on the label. So manufacturers are nowadays, oh look at this another one I bought, because it had gold stars all over it. But the original champagne came over to England, was discovered, they say, by Dom Perignon in the Champagne region. It's an area of northeastern France, and he discovered champagne. It started by accident with all the little bubbles, and he shouted, "Hey, I see stars!" And everyone else was so excited, they started making this on a commercial basis. Mr. Moet and Mr. Chandon took over the company, and they have a statue of this monk standing outside, and you can go on a tour. We went on a tour underneath in the chalk caves, where of course it's cold. When you get your bottle home, you don't leave it like that, which is what my family did. When we came to my son's bar mitzvah, we opened all the wine and it had all gone off. If you put it up on the top of your fridge, the bubbles might escape, the cork might go off. You're supposed to store it like that down in the cellar, if you have one. Who's got a cellar in England? One person. A Frenchman. Now, after the wonderful Mr. Dom Perignon discovered it, champagne was sent over to England in the reign of Henry VIII. How appropriate, a man who had 6 wives, must have had lots of weddings, wanted champagne. After that, the next important lady, in my opinion, was Veuve Clicquot. And here on a bottle of Veuve Clicquot is a picture of Veuve meaning widow. Her husband died young. I'm not sure if it was out of too much drink. but he died very young. But she was a very strong lady and she took over the business. And to this day, years and years afterwards, her picture is still on the bottle. And if you go into lots of wine bars, you'll see a picture of this formidable looking lady who looks as if she wouldn't drink a thing and would tell you what to do. The next important lady in Champagne came to England, Madame Bollinger. She was interviewed by the Daily Mail. They said, when do you drink champagne? And she said, I drink it when I'm alone. And of course when I'm in company, it's obligatory. Sometimes when I'm sad. And of course when I'm happy. And when I'm hungry, I have something to drink. But apart from that, I don't drink any at all. Daily Mail quoted this, it went round the world. And it's still round the world. In many, many wine bars around the world, you'll see this quotation from Madame Bollinger. A few things you'll notice, you can ask me questions later, is that to stop the bottle exploding, it's a heavy bottle and it's a gentle shape. Over in Burgundy, Bordeaux, where the sailors are on the edge of the water, eau is water. Big shoulders, you have this shaped bottle with the top, and many other people copied this shaped bottle. What else does the label tell you? Go onto my blogger and you will see lots of articles on the different languages. You can go to Google Translate and you can go to all sorts of places where they'll tell you how to translate your label. I have lots more to tell you. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop shortly. Just a few more thoughts on the best wines. If you want to do a tasting, join the Wine Society up in Stevenage. You don't have to go all the way to France. Drive up the motorway. It costs you £40, but they give you £20 back to spend on wines in their shop. And you can taste anything from 6 to 20 wines on one of their wine tasting days. The French say life is too short to spend on bad wine. Quite right. Let's all enjoy good wine. Now, any questions?
Angela,
Yes.
does the shape of the bottle affect the storage or taste of the wine, or is it just marketing?
Some people say that this hole underneath is designed so that the sediment collects around the edges, so when you shake the bottle, it doesn't all come up, but is collecting there. I've never put this to the test. I'm inclined to think it's all marketing, but never mind. Yes, good question. Any other questions? Yes, David?
Over what space of time was this research carried out?
My husband has got about 30 bottles just for the next exam, which is next Tuesday, and we are laying them out 3 at a time, but you take a sip of wine and then you spit it. It's not my idea of the way you drink wine. I like to have a couple of glasses. Yes?
Have you got dates at all for the, when, for example, when the first champagne was?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. If you go onto the Moët Chandon site, you'll find it. In fact, most of the manufacturers have got their own sites with the history of the company and so on, and some of them actually have the date on the bottle, and some of them have the date of when this particular wine was first made, or the date when it was bottled. Like this one's 1993. This is 1997. I would guess that's when it's bottled. Have a look. And there are more numbers on the back. What does this say? Oh, 1994. Fundada on 1877. Founded in 1877. Go on to Google Translate and you translate all these things. That's Spanish. Portuguese, no, it's Rioja, Spanish. Any more questions? questions.
Yeah, you mentioned, sorry.
No, okay.
No.
So what's a good year for Bond here?
If you go to the Wine Society, they will give you a little card which lists all the years. I can give a whole talk on why does it matter which year and where it's grown, and it's like your own garden. If it's a good year with lots of rain and good weather, you get a good vintage, and on one side of the hill or the garden you've got the sun, and the other side you haven't got the sun, so that even in the same garden you know that you've got flowers on that side and trees on that side. And it's the same with vineyards. If Mr. Rothschild has got bought that bit of land and someone else has got that bit of land, however good a wine he makes, he's going to have better wine from that bit of land. So you put together all these different things. The man who does the making, the land where the things are grown in the year they are made, plus of course the bottler and how you store the wine.
But you've got a blog on this, haven't you? How do we get to, what's the web address?
Angela Lansbury, on blogger.com, Angela Lansbury, writer, travel, just email me and I'll send it to you. And the red light's on.
Yeah.
Can you take two questions? Jill first.
The glass,
Yes.
should it be the tulip shape? Should it be the old-fashioned wide one that's come out now?
No, it has to be the tulip shape that keeps the bubbles in. The wide one was the Marie Antoinette glass, and she's supposed to have them made to imitate her figure, and of course what she had, everyone else had.
What makes the difference between a good champagne and a good champagne? Because there are so many manufacturers, how do you know which one is better than the other? And are they?
Well, it's up to you to decide what you like, because if I like white wine and you like red wine, nothing is going to make me... What they do is they have tastings, and lots of experts taste them, but there was the Judgment of Paris when an American wine was brought over here, blind tasted by the French. They made this into a film. They found that even the French thought the American champagne was better than theirs. Afterwards they were furious, and there's a whole film about this.
Last one.